Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We are live, my friends. It is Tuesday, the 5th day of October, 2010. I'm honored that former Minnesota governor, movie star, mayor, talk show host, and the star of the number one hit on True TV, Conspiracy Theory, back for its second season, premiering here in just about a week and a half. Governor Jesse Ventura joins us. He kicked off the promotion yesterday with a USA Today interview and talking to some major newspapers, but this is his first big radio interview as he gets ready to promote the television show. Of course, I know a lot about the show, but most of it is secret. And so he joins us today to be able to talk about as much as he can, some of the harassment they've gone through, what's coming up in the episodes. We'll also get into all these new terror alerts just ahead of the election. And we're going to talk about the economy, a host of issues with Governor Jesse Ventura. Jesse, do you know yet what the first episode is going to be, what they're going to air for?
I can't tell you, it's in stone, but I think the first one's Plum Island.
Let's talk about Plum Island, then we'll get into water. That's another episode.
Yeah, well, Plum Island, what's interesting about that, of course, is it's located right on the end of Long Island. And really what intrigues you about it is to go into the history of it. It's a biological center where our government tests out biological diseases on animals, in which like hoof and mouth and things like that to prevent it. That's the upfront story about Plum Island. Now, the conspiracy in Plum Island is this. Lyme disease, the first recorded case, was found in Lyme, Connecticut, which is right across the water from Plum Island. And then you go into the history of Plum Island and you learn this. The godfather of Plum Island is a Nazi named Erich Traub. And at the end of World War II, he was right underneath Himmler. And his expertise was creating biological warfare using ticks and mosquitoes and inflicting them upon another country with devastation of biological warfare. Well, he probably should have stood trial at Nuremberg, but of course we all know at the end of World War II there was a battle between us and the Soviets of how many scientists we could all get. And he's one that made it here. And now there were good to that. We got Werner von Braun, who's the godfather of our space program in NASA. But we also got Erich Traub, whose expertise was biological warfare using ticks and mosquitoes. He is the godfather of Plum Island. He is the man that created this place. So, I mean, call me, paranoid, Alex, but anytime I know that a Nazi created something and we're now using it, my suspicion rate goes up. Is that a logical thing to do?
Well, absolutely. And as you know, they're now building 36 level 4 bioweapons labs in the middle of nowhere, but also in major cities like San Antonio, Texas, and in places like that. And there's a lot of evidence that not just Lyme disease came from Plum Island, but also that the West Nile virus and so many other zoological type things. And now we're going to put this on screen. I'm sure it came out a few days ago that not only did they give black men syphilis for 40-plus years and kill them and let them spread it, but now they've apologized for the U.S. government in secret testing, injecting thousands of Guatemalans with syphilis. I mean...
Alex, am I missing something, or would we classify that terrorism?
It is terrorism, yes.
Yeah, I mean, how come our country can do things that are terrorist and we're not called? I mean, I got in trouble. Fox TV won't have me on anymore because I made the statement on there when I was on months ago. I said that why are we so shocked that we would get attacked by terrorists when our country's been practicing terrorism for going on 50 years? We just call it foreign policy. And they got angry and asked me to cite an example, and the quick one that came into my head, I said, well, what about Cuba? I said, we've attempted to assassinate their leader on multiple occasions. I said we tried to destroy their cane fields. We bombed ships in their harbor. And, of course, we all know, you and I, about the nice guy Orlando Bosch. He's a guy that blew up a Cuban civilian aircraft with 100 and some people on board and was pardoned by George Bush Sr.
Yeah,
he's walking free today.
The Cuban Olympic team, and that's admitted that he was CIA contracted.
Yeah, now, is that not an act of terrorism?
Well, let me bring this up to you then.
If that's not, then explain to me the difference.
Well, there's two issues here, and I want to get back into the government-sponsored terror, both the stuff they stage, but the open terror that they call foreign policy. 1,000 drones bombing Pakistan, and they admitted they kill one person of interest that may be a terrorist, they claim. It's okay to kill 100 innocent people at a wedding, and I want you to speak to that, Governor, but separately, you're saying specifically, well, because that's big news. I mean, Fox News has told you, because I know you used to be on there all the time as a guest, you're not allowed on now? Because
they don't officially tell me, but they won't book me. The last time I went, it used to be I could at least get on with Hannity. Now I can't even get on with him. Beck, Hannity, O'Reilly, and all of them. See, they're the kind of guys that they thrive upon being able to bully people. And the problem is I can't be bullied usually.
Well, that's the issue, is that Glenn Beck calls you stupid, but I know you well. You're extremely smart, but also street smart.
Glenn Beck calls me stupid?
Yeah, guys, YouTube, Glenn Beck calls Jesse Ventura stupid. He does an imitation of you. He says, I was in a dressing room with him.
Wait, Alex, this comes from a guy whose only claim to fame in his entire life history is being a top 40 disc jockey?
Absolutely.
And he says I'm stupid, huh?
Well, I'm going to try to pull this clip up.
No, I don't care. I consider the source, but I mean, coming from a guy, and nothing against disc jockeys, I have nothing against that profession. It's an honorable
But I know you well.
But you can't hardly call yourself a foreign policy specialist if your entire background is being a disc jockey.
Well, my point is that in the tape, it was from his radio show, he claims that you were in a dressing room with him and, quote, tried to intimidate him, if memory serves.
Oh, that's true.
And
absolutely. I intimidate all the people at Fox. He joins a good company called O'Reilly, Hannity, and the rest of them.
Well, I was going to expand on that. I mean, I've seen you with Hannity where he completely capitulates and they're just unable to dominate you, but you're not bullying them. You're very calm and just lay out the facts.
Well, the thing is, you have to remember something, Alex. You have to treat journalists in different ways because each one of them thrives on being successful in a certain manner. And the Fox people thrive on being bullies. So the key to interviewing with them is to show them they can't bully you and that, you in turn bully them. Did you see when Jon Stewart was on with O'Reilly? I mean, Jon Stewart destroyed O'Reilly. It's the first time I've seen O'Reilly lose control of his show. Jon Stewart had full control of O'Reilly's show, and O'Reilly was just pumping in little bits and pieces when he could.
Yes, I have seen that, and if anybody is a bully, it's O'Reilly. He'll cut
All of them are.
He'll cut off people's mics. He'll get in their face and tell them to shut up.
They all are. It isn't just him. They're all that way. That's the persona there.
Well,
people need to understand Fox News is not Fox News. It's Fox Entertainment.
Well, since we raised this, I want you to hear it and be able to comment. Here's Glenn Beck talking about Governor Jesse Ventura. Here it is.
I heard Jesse Ventura. What a dope this guy is. I heard Jesse Ventura, who's nothing but a big, fat, dumb bully. And trust me, I know. He tried to intimidate me in the makeup room one day before a CNN show. And he's just a bully. He's big, he's dumb, he's slow.
He's definitely a big dumb animal.
And he is a bully. That's it.
You know the only offense I take out of that, Alex?
What?
The only offense I take, how dare Glenn Beck called me fat? How dare him? That fat butterball called me fat? Excuse me, I used to be called Jesse the Body Ventura.
Well, I gotta say,
now, granted, I am not in the shape that I was in when I was at the peak of my pro wrestling career at the height of athleticism, but I still am in pretty good shape.
Well, let me be clear.
The offense I take from that is having Glenn Beck call me fat.